Hello everyone, and welcome back to the studio. You're tuning in to episode 9 of Module 2 of the Blueprint for Effortless English. I'm your co-host, Ben.
And I'm Anna. Welcome back, everybody. We've officially reached the penultimate episode of this module. It's hard to believe we're already at episode 9.
It really is flying by. Over the past 8 episodes, we've completely deconstructed the physical mechanics of the English language. We've taken the machine apart piece by piece. We've looked at sentence stress, the schwa, connected speech, intonation, pausing, contractions, vowel length, and consonant clusters.
We've basically spent the last few weeks showing you all the individual car parts laying on the garage floor. But today, we're putting the engine together, turning the key, and driving the car. Today, we're talking about mimicry and shadowing.
If you've been following along with the blueprint, you know we've mentioned shadowing a few times. We've teased it as the ultimate practice technique. Today, we're finally giving you the exact step-by-step framework for how to do it correctly.
Before we dive into the ultimate pronunciation workout, we've got our usual small favor to ask. If you're enjoying this 50-episode journey and finding value in these lessons, please hit that like button and subscribe to the English Chatcast channel.
It's the absolute best way to support us and help this community grow. We want to reach as many learners as possible who are stuck on the intermediate plateau. Thanks so much for being here.
Now, Ben, let's start with a definition. What exactly is shadowing? Because a lot of students confuse it with just simply repeating after a teacher.
That's a great distinction to make. Repeating is what you do in a traditional classroom. The teacher says a phrase, the teacher pauses, and then the class repeats the phrase into the silence.
Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you?
Exactly. That's repeating. Shadowing is entirely different. Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker and you speak along with them at the exact same time, or just a fraction of a second behind them. You don't wait for them to finish. You overlap your voice with their voice.
It's exactly like singing along to your favorite song on the radio. When you're driving in your car and a great song comes on, you don't wait for the singer to finish the chorus so you can sing it back. You sing it with them. You match their pitch, their rhythm, their breath, and their emotion in real time.
That's the perfect analogy. And just like singing along to a song, shadowing forces you to abandon your analytical brain. You don't have time to think about grammar rules or translation when you're trying to keep up with a native speaker speaking at full speed.
That's the magic of it. It completely bypasses the translation trap we spent all of Module 1 talking about. It forces you out of your head and into your mouth. It builds pure physical muscle memory.
It trains your jaw, your lips, your tongue, and your vocal cords to move in the specific physical patterns of English. Your mouth gets used to the gymnastics of connected speech and consonant clusters, without your brain having to micromanage every single movement.
But you can't just turn on a 2-hour movie, press play, and start talking over the actors. That's gonna lead to complete frustration. Shadowing is a highly structured exercise. It requires focus and a specific methodology.
Right, so we've developed a 6-step framework for shadowing. If you follow these 6 steps, you're going to see a massive transformation in your accent, your flow, and your speaking confidence.
Step 1 is selection. You have to choose the right audio material. This is where a lot of people fail before they even start. You don't want to shadow Shakespeare. You don't want to shadow a highly dramatic, emotional movie scene where the actors are screaming or crying.
And you also don't want to shadow the evening news. News anchors use a very specific artificial broadcasting rhythm that nobody actually uses in real life.
It sounds incredibly unnatural if you try to order a coffee using a news anchor voice.
You want conversational reality. You want podcasts, YouTube vlogs, or talk show interviews. You want two people just casually chatting. And most importantly, the audio must come with an accurate transcript or accurate subtitles.
The length of the audio is also crucial. Don't try to shadow a 10-minute video. You'll exhaust yourself. You want to select a clip that's only 30 to 60 seconds long, just a few paragraphs of text.
Once you've found your 30-second clip of natural conversational English, you move to Step 2. Step 2 is blind listening.
Notice we didn't say reading. During Step 2, you completely ignore the transcript. Close your eyes, hit play on the 30-second clip, and just listen to it 3 or 4 times in a row.
Your goal here isn't to understand every single vocabulary word. Your goal is to listen to the music. You're listening for the beat of the drum and the melody of the violin.
You're trying to map the peaks and the valleys in your head. Where does the speaker's voice go up? Where do they rush and mumble? Where do they pause? Just let the rhythm wash over you without any visual distractions.
Once you've absorbed the music, you're ready for Step 3. Step 3 is the blueprint markup. This is where you finally look at the text and you apply everything we've taught you in Module 2.
You print out the transcript of your 30-second clip on a physical piece of paper. Get a red pen. First, listen to the audio again and underline the content words. Which words are getting hit the hardest? Underline the peaks.
Then look for the function words, the small, unimportant grammar words. Circle them. Remind your brain that those circled words are going to be reduced to a lazy schwa sound.
Next, draw your connected speech bridges. When a word ends in a consonant and the next word starts with a vowel, draw a little linking arrow between them. Remind your eyes that there's no space bar there.
Look for the tricky consonant clusters we talked about in Episode 8. If you see a word like asked or texts, cross out the heavy consonants that the native speaker drops. If they say, I asked a question, physically cross out the K and the E and the D and draw a line to the T. Finally, draw vertical lines wherever the speaker takes a breath or uses a dramatic pause. You're literally creating a musical score for your mouth. You're translating standard written English into a phonetic blueprint. This markup phase is so incredibly powerful because it forces you to acknowledge the massive difference between how English looks on a page and how it actually sounds in the real world. You're visually confronting the spelling illusion.
Exactly. And once your script is fully marked up with underlines, circles, arrows, and breath marks, you move to Step 4. Step 4 is mute mimicry.
Some people call this silent shadowing. This where you play the audio clip and you follow along with your marked up transcript, but you don't make any sound with your vocal cords.
You just mouth the words. You move your lips, your jaw, and your tongue in perfect synchronization with the native speaker, but you stay completely silent.
It feels a little bit silly, like you're lip-syncing in a music video, but there's a deep neurological reason for doing this. It allows you to focus 100% of your cognitive energy on the physical shape of your mouth without the distraction of hearing your own voice.
When you speak out loud, your brain is simultaneously trying to control your mouth and listen to the sound you're producing. It's splitting its attention. By staying silent, you give your mouth a chance to figure out the complex physical transitions.
You can focus on pushing your lips forward for the W sounds, bringing your teeth to your bottom lip for the V sounds, and dropping your jaw completely for the lazy schwa.
We recommend doing the mute mimicry step at least 3 or 4 times. Get comfortable with the choreography of the scene. Make sure your tongue knows exactly where it needs to go during those fast, connected speech rivers.
And that brings us to the main event, Step 5, active vocal shadowing. You've got your marked up script, you've warmed up your mouth, and now it's time to turn your vocal cords on.
You hit play on the audio, and you speak out loud along with the native speaker. You don't wait for them. You ride the wave right alongside them.
The first time you do this, it's going to be a disaster, I promise you. You're going to stumble, you're going to lose your place, you're going to run out of breath, and you're going to feel completely overwhelmed.
That's entirely normal. You're trying to process visual information, audio information, and physical coordination all at the same time at native speed. It's a massive cognitive load.
But you don't stop. If you stumble on a word, you don't pause the track to fix it. You just jump right back into the river wherever the speaker is. You keep flowing forward.
This is where the magic happens. After the 4th or 5th attempt, your brain realizes it can't logically process the information fast enough, so it stops trying. Your analytical brain shuts down, and your physical muscle memory takes over.
You stop reading the letters on the page and you start feeling the rhythm in your chest. You start naturally hitting the peaks and mumbling through the valleys because it's physically the only way to keep up with the audio.
You're suddenly using connected speech, not because it's a grammar rule, but because it's a biological necessity. You're taking the shortcuts because you have to.
When you hit that flow state, it feels incredible. It's like you're surfing. You're just riding the momentum of the native speaker's voice.
And you have to pay attention to the emotion, too. Remember episode 4, intonation for intent. Don't just match their speed, match their attitude. If the speaker sounds excited, you need to jump your pitch and sound excited.
You have to do the fall rise scoop too. You're an actor learning a role. You have to embody the personality of the speaker.
Doing this breaks you out of that flat, polite, robotic tone that so many learners are trapped in. It forces you to explore the full dynamic range of your vocal cords.
You should loop this 30-second active shadowing exercise 10, 15, or even 20 times. You do it until it feels effortless, until you don't even need to look at the paper anymore because your mouth just knows the dance by heart.
Which leads us to the final step. Step 6, the reality check, recording and comparing.
Everybody hates this step, but it's arguably the most important one. Once you feel completely confident shadowing the track, you need to grab your phone and open your voice memo app.
You play the native speaker's audio through your headphones so only you can hear it. Then you shadow the track while recording your own voice on your phone.
So the recording is just going to be your voice, speaking the 30-second monologue matching the native speaker's pacing in your head.
Then you take your headphones off and you listen to the recording. This is a very vulnerable moment. Because we hear our own voices through bone conduction in our skulls, our voices always sound deeper and more resonant to ourselves than they do to the rest of the world.
When you hear the recording, you're hearing what everyone else hears, and usually the first thing you'll notice is that you aren't nearly as dramatic as you thought you were.
You might think you're hitting those peaks and jumping your pitch, but on the recording, it still sounds a bit flat. You might think you're destroying those schwas, but on the recording, you can clearly hear yourself pronouncing every single letter.
The recording doesn't lie. It highlights the exact spots where your native language rhythm is still overpowering the English rhythm.
Listen to your recording and compare it directly to the original track. Did you pause where they paused? Did you link where they linked? Did you drop the heavy T where they dropped the heavy T?
Identify your weak spots. Make some new marks on your script with a different colored pen, and then do the whole process again. Shadow, record, compare.
It's an iterative process. It's exactly how athletes train. They record their golf swing, they watch the tape, they adjust their grip, and they swing again. You're an athlete training your mouth muscles.
I want to share a quick story about a student of mine named Elena. Elena had been living in London for 5 years. Her grammar was flawless, her vocabulary was immense, but she still felt like she couldn't connect with her colleagues at work.
She felt like an outsider?
Exactly. She said people were always asking her to repeat herself, or they just wouldn't engage in deep conversations with her. I listened to her speak, and the problem was entirely rhythmic. She was a robot. She put equal stress on every single syllable.
So you put her on a shadowing regimen.
I did. I made her find 30-second clips of British talk shows. I made her do the markup, the mute mimicry, the active shadowing, and the recording, every single day for 20 minutes.
How long did it take for her to see a difference?
Within 2 weeks, she told me her jaw physically hurt after practicing. That's how much she was changing her muscle movements. And within a month, the results were staggering.
The rhythm clicked.
It absolutely clicked. She stopped trying to pronounce the function words. She started linking her consonants to her vowels. Her colleagues at work actually started asking her if she had hired a voice coach because suddenly she sounded so relaxed and natural.
Shadowing works because it attacks the root of the problem. It fixes the physical habits that you've been relying on for decades.
But it requires consistency. You can't just shadow one video on a Sunday afternoon and expect your accent to change permanently. You need to do it daily. 10 or 15 minutes a day is infinitely better than 2 hours once a week.
You need to keep telling your mouth that this is the new normal. Consistency is what rewires the neural pathways in your brain.
I also want to remind our listeners that shadowing is not about losing your native accent completely. We've said this before, but it bears repeating. Having an accent is beautiful. It tells the story of who you are and where you come from.
We aren't trying to erase your identity. We're trying to give you the rhythm and the flow of English so that your accent never gets in the way of your message. We want effortless communication.
Shadowing gives you the clarity of a native speaker without necessarily erasing the unique flavor of your own voice.
All right, we've laid out the entire 6-step framework: selection, blind listening, the blueprint markup, mute mimicry, active shadowing, and recording.
Which brings us to your mission for episode 9. This is the big one, folks. This is where you put it all together.
Your homework for this week is to complete one full cycle of the shadowing framework. I want you to go to YouTube and find a conversational clip, just 30 seconds long.
The blind listen. Print the transcript. Mark up the peaks, the valleys, the links, and the pauses. Spend some serious time on the markup. Make it look like a messy mathematical formula.
Then do your mute mimicry. Get comfortable with the physical transitions, and then start your active vocal shadowing. Loop it until you catch the wave.
Finally, do the hard part. Record yourself shadowing the track. Listen back to it and be honest with yourself about where you need to improve.
Once you've completed the entire cycle, we want you to come down into the comments section. We don't want you to post the audio recording, don't worry, but we do want you to tell us about the experience.
Tell us which step was the hardest for you. Was it marking the connected speech? Was it feeling silly during the mute mimicry? Or was it the shock of hearing your own recorded voice?
Share your process with the community. We're all in this gym together, lifting these phonetic weights.
You're doing phenomenal work. You now possess the ultimate tool for pronunciation mastery. If you practice shadowing consistently, your English will completely transform.
In our next episode, episode 10, we're wrapping up Module 2. We're going to do a massive review of the entire Rhythm of Fluency.
We're going to tie all these concepts together and talk about what it truly means to find your flow state in English. We'll also give you some long-term strategies for maintaining these physical habits.
It's going to be a fantastic conclusion to the physical shift. You definitely won't want to miss it as we prepare to transition into Module 3.
But for today, get out there and find your audio clip. Grab your red pen, mark up those schwas, and start writing the river.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Emma.
If you're ready to start shadowing and transforming your rhythm, please hit that like button and subscribe. Let's master the music together. Until next time, keep practicing, keep listening, and remember, learning English with us is
A piece of cake. Thanks for listening, everyone. See you next time on the English Chatcast.